Starting up a new series and I'm calling it Bathrobe Breakdowns. I figured if I'm taking the time to make these videos, might as well do it when I'm at my comfiest. So I got my bathrobe on, I got my slippers on, and this is Bathrobe Breakdowns episode number 1. And we're going to St. Louis for a fight night card. We have Derek Lewis taking on Rodrigo Nascimento in the main event. As usual, I'm going to give you guys my quick picks, go through each matchup, quickly break down each fight. Not going to go into too much detail. I got to keep this video under 10 minutes. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Before we get into Bathrobe Breakdowns episode number 1, I'm going to do a quick recap of last week's UFC event. Went up 0.7 units, nothing crazy, but always happy to be in the green. That's 2 weeks in a row in the green, looking to make it 3 tonight. I do have 10 bets currently locked in. 8 out of those 10 bets are plus money. First fight of the night, we have Veronica Hardy taking on JJ Aldridge. Not a ton to say about this fight. I think the line is about accurate with Hardy as a relatively slight favorite. You know, she's looked career best over her past 2 fights. She had a career resurgence. She took some time off and she came back looking great. JJ Aldridge, nothing too impressive. She's a UFC vet, but she does everything well. She has good fundamentals. She has a good jab. She moves well. She's durable. But I think the athleticism, the movement, and the kicks of Hardy are going to be the difference maker here. She wins the decision. Next matchup is Jake Hadley taking on Charles Johnson. I'm going to pick Jake Hadley here with low confidence. I actually think his striking is really underrated. He's a really good striker. He has good cardio. He throws a lot of output. He mixes up the target well. He goes to the body a lot. And he also has good jiu-jitsu. Typically, the way you beat or the way Jake Hadley has lost in the UFC thus far is you got to be a good jiu-jitsu player. You take him down, you hold him down, force him to work his submissions. If he doesn't get it, he typically loses by decision. On the other side, you have Charles Johnson. He's the local guy. He's known for his durability, his cardio. He's well-rounded, kind of similar way to beat him in the UFC, usually take him down. I think that for the majority of the fight, it's going to take place on the feet. And I actually think that Hadley's going to slightly out-volume Charles Johnson. But then again, this fight is favored to go to a decision. And Charles Johnson is the local guy. He's the St. Louis guy. So it's a pass for me, but the pick is Jake Hadley. Next fight is Trey Waters taking on Billy Ray Goff. Trey Waters, absolutely massive for the division. He's 6'5". The way you beat him, you got to take him down, hold him down, or you got to really get inside and work the boxing. You know, Billy Ray, he's found success in the UFC so far. He's a bit reckless. He's one of those guys where you hurt him to wake him up, and then he wakes up and then he hurts you. Just not a good style for winning fights in the UFC. Maybe you can get past these type of opponents in the regional scene where you get hurt and you kind of come back. You just can't afford to do that in the UFC. So I'm picking Trey Waters to win here. I think he manages the distance well. I think that he either catches Billy Goff on the feet, or I actually think that a live play is Trey Waters by submission. Tisha Torres, aka now Tisha Pennington, taking on Tabitha Ricci. Quick breakdown on this one. Tisha Pennington, she's coming back from a 2-year layoff. She actually gave birth. Congratulations to her, but never a good look when you're coming back from a layoff after going through something like that. I'm going to pick Ricci here just because she's younger and she has the grappling upside. But again, this fight is going to it's heavily favored to go to decision. It's a toss-up, so kind of pick your poison with this one. I think it does go to a decision at a high clip, though. Next, we have T-Rex Terrence McKinney taking on Esteban Ribovics. Absolutely fire fight here. I mean, there's no such thing as a boring Terrence McKinney fight. He's going to come out hot. He's probably going to have success in round 1 with his wrestling, holding Ribovics down. But as we saw in Ribovics' last fight, he's a tough guy to hurt. He's a tough guy to submit. He's super durable, and he's dangerous in his own right. And the guy has ridiculous cardio. He can go 3 hard rounds. Doesn't matter if you hurt him. Doesn't matter if you take him down. So if McKinney doesn't finish Ribovics in round 1, he's in trouble. I'm going to pick Ribovics to survive the early onslaught of McKinney and finish McKinney in round 2. Chase Hooper taking on Vyacheslav Borshev, Slava Klaus. Another really good fight. I mean, this fight is full of just bangers. If you guys notice, a lot of the totals betting-wise are set at 1.5. That means that they're going to be expecting some violence in this card. But with this matchup, it's going to be another violent one. It's either, you know, you have the striking of Borshev or you have the grappling of Hooper. Personally, I'm going with the striker because Hooper has terrible striking defense and he's not the best wrestler. Slava Klaus has fought some really good wrestlers in the past. He was taken down, but I don't think that Hooper is going to get him down as easily here. He's been training at Team Alpha Male for a while now. So I'm going with Borshev to knock out Hooper. Next fight, Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Rebelis de Spain. This guy Rebelis is absolutely massive. I think he's like 6'7", has a ton of power. If you want to go back and rewatch all his professional fights, it's going to take you all of about 6 minutes. The guy's very dangerous, but a lot of question marks are surrounding him. He's never been outside of round one, and Waldo has been three hard rounds in the UFC, so he's the more proven commodity here. I'm going to pick Rebelis to knock out Waldo in round one, but if it doesn't happen, I think things are going to get a little bit hairy. Probably not a bad spot to target Waldo live. Next fight, we have Alex Caceres taking on Sean Woodson. Good matchup here. Sean Woodson is the hometown guy. He's from St. Louis, so he's going to have the crowd behind him. I'm going to pick him to win. He's bigger, he's younger. I like his boxing. He is really tightening up that takedown defense. Not that Caceres attempts a lot of takedowns, but if he did, I think that Woodson can do a good job of keeping on the feet. Caceres is tricky though. He's a vet. You know, he could take your back without even attempting a takedown. And, you know, in the clinch, you can kind of get to your back and attempt submissions. I do think this is going to be not maybe a firefight, but I do think there's going to be some violence in this fight. Hot take, but I'm picking Woodson to win. Diego Ferreira taking on Mateus Rebecki next. I'm taking the old, savvy, gritty vet here in Diego Ferreira. I think that Mateus Rebecki's fight against Nick Fiore was very telling. He threw a lot of output in round one, and then he gassed for round two and round three. He got it done, credit to him, but Nick Fiore was way more accepting of the grappling positions than I think CDF will be. You know, Rebecki took down Nick Fiore, and Nick Fiore, especially in the third round, just kind of laid back in his guard. He was tired too. I also think that Chase Hooper was a lot more closer to finishing Nick Fiore than Ron Betsky was. And Ferreira's no slouch, man. He's fought the way better level of competition. Great jiu-jitsu player, good striking. He's going to have a massive reach advantage here. And I'm picking him to win. I think that he's going to survive the early onslaught of Ron Betsky. I believe that's how you say it. And he's going to either finish or win a decision. The obvious concerns here are the age and a little bit short notice, but I'm picking my guy CDF to win this. Next up, we have Carlos Ulberg taking on Alonzo Menefield. Good matchup here. I'm picking Ulberg to use his lateral movement, work the jab, and just kind of outstrike Menefield. I kind of have a feeling this one's going to be kind of a boring kickboxing match. Menefield's not the type of guy to chain wrestling together and force grappling. I don't think he's landed more than 2 takedowns in the UFC so far in one fight. So I'm picking Ulberg to kind of move around Menefield, use his jab, and win a decision. Co-main event, we have another local guy in Joaquin Buckley. He's taking on Ruzaboyev. Ruzaboyev, another guy who is massive for 170. He's 6'5". I wasn't sure if he's able to make weight. He did it in the past years ago, but he made weight, and I thought he looked pretty good. I'm picking Ruzaboyev here to knock out Buckley at some point in this fight. Buckley's been knocked out 4 times. He has questionable durability, and Ruzaboyev has proven that he has some power. He's knocked out his first 2 opponents in the UFC. But once it gets outside of round 1, I think it's going to be hairy, and I think it favors Buckley. But I think Ruzaboyev is live for the finish here. Main event time, we have Derek Lewis. He's taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. It's a bit of a big step down in level of competition for Derek Lewis. You know, he's fighting nothing but the best of the best recently, and now he's fighting Rodrigo Nascimento. But Derek Lewis is 39. You never know what you're going to get at this point from Derek Lewis. Is he going to look for a way out? Who knows? But he does still have that power. He's the knockout king. And Nascimento has like a 40-something% striking defense. Not a good look against a guy like Derek Lewis. I think Derek Lewis knocks out Nascimento at some point in this fight, probably early, like round 1 or round 2. There you have it, guys. Bathrobe Breakdowns, episode number 1 in the books. These are my last 30 or so events betting on, mostly on the UFC. I've said it before, consistency is key. I'm consistently making money betting UFC over the past 4 or 5 years. If you want access to my bets, you can DM me or click the link in the bio. Good luck.